The anime opens with a poignant memory of a young boy named Haruto preparing to leave, while his childhood friend, a girl named Mei, sobs uncontrollably, begging him not to go. Her sorrow is palpable, but the scene soon reveals itself to be a flashback, a memory lingering deep within Haruto's consciousness. Tragedy swiftly follows as Haruto, while on a bus, becomes the victim of a fatal accident when a train collides with it. His life on Earth ends abruptly in that moment, but his story is far from over. Haruto awakens in a strange new land, in a body that is not his own. Though he remembers who he used to be, he is now a young boy named Rio, and the realm around him is known as the Kingdom of Beltrum. Unsure whether the vivid memories of his past life are just dreams or fever-induced hallucinations, he questions everything. But when strangers suddenly burst into his home, calling him Rio, he realizes that this strange new reality is undeniably real. Driven by hunger, Rio wanders outside to eat berries from nearby bushes. As he eats, fragments of Haruto's life flash back. He remembers being a 20-year-old university student who died too young. Although he clings to Haruto's identity, Rio begins to accept the life he now leads. A lingering pain remains, however, especially when he recalls that his mother was murdered, and he quietly vows revenge. His journey takes a serious turn when he stumbles upon some nobles searching for a missing girl named Princess Flora. They interrogate him, but he claims to know nothing. Afterward, when he returns to his home, he is ambushed by a stranger. In a moment of peril, an illusionary figure, an ethereal woman, appears and instructs Rio in the use of surrounding magical energy. Drawing upon her guidance, Rio unleashes powers he didn't know he had and defeats the attacker. He soon finds the kidnapped princess and rescues her. Despite his heroic efforts, Rio is treated as a suspect. The knights, eager to find a scapegoat, arrest him and brutally torture him, attempting to coerce a false confession. Refusing to lie, Rio endures their abuse until the truth eventually surfaces. Once cleared of wrongdoing, he is granted an audience with the king and rewarded with admission to the prestigious Beltrum Royal Academy. However, this honor doesn't shield him from scorn. Most students reject him due to his humble origins. In class, Rio pretends to be illiterate to avoid drawing attention, but his instructor, a prodigious young girl named Celia, sees through him. She privately tutors him and is amazed at how advanced he really is, especially after learning he answered everything correctly on his assignments. Celia shares with him tales of other gifted students, like Princess Christina, the only one rivaling his intellect. Their teacher-student bond grows, and she offers him tea and guides him to beginner-friendly books. Later, during sword training, Rio astonishes the instructor with his natural prowess, prompting an invitation to join the knights, an offer he declines. He instead focuses on preparing for the upcoming exams, diligently studying in the academy library. Celia continues to support him, recognizing how far he's come in such a short time. When exam results are posted, a wave of disbelief spreads as Rio ties with Princess Christina for the top score. Not everyone is pleased. A student named Alphonse bitterly accuses him of cheating. Regardless, Rio earns a place in the upcoming night tournament. While organizing books, Rio teases Celia, reminding her that she still looks as small as she did 5 years ago. Her indignation is mixed with affection, and she informs him he's grown quite a bit. Rio expresses interest in visiting his homeland, Yagumo. At the night tournament, he faces off against the royal knight Charles. Rio dominates the match, channeling his suppressed resentment over past injustices, especially the false accusations of kidnapping the princess. Charles is soundly defeated. Later, Celia is shocked to discover that Rio didn't fill out the graduation form about his future plans. In magic class, Celia teaches the use of magical formulas, but Rio remains unable to cast them. Alphonse mocks him once again, prompting Celia to step in and showcase her own magical brilliance. Though Rio can't perform formulas, he impresses everyone by imitating magical flows to replicate effects. Accusations fly again, with another student, Stuart, claiming Rio is flirting with girls. Celia swiftly shuts down the baseless rumors. During an outdoor training exercise, Rio, still struggling with magic, is tasked with carrying everyone's supplies. Their journey leads them into encounters with goblins, easily dispatched by those with enhanced physical abilities. The group under Alphonse's command ventures deeper and faces off against dangerous orcs. In the chaos, Stuart pushes Princess Flora, causing her to fall off a cliff. Rio saves her in the nick of time. Though Rio saves the princess, a scheme unfolds to frame him for her fall. Flora, aware of the lie, refuses to move forward without searching for Rio. The group later battles a massive orc, but even with magic, they fail. As the orc charges toward Flora, Rio emerges and defeats the monster single-handedly. Before anyone can recognize him, he vanishes into the forest. A mysterious observer watches Rio and deduces that he must be from the Yagumo region, which explains his ability to wield spirit arts. At the academy, Celia overhears the headmaster blaming Rio for Flora's fall. When she's alone in her study, Rio appears. Overcome with relief, she embraces him. Knowing the kingdom is planning to falsely accuse him again, Rio decides to flee before graduation and promises to write to Celia using the name Haruto. Rio heads for the Yagumo region, sending a letter to Celia from a man, a marketplace in the kingdom of Galark. 3 days into his journey, he stumbles upon a stall that reminds him of Tokyo. Seeking provisions, he visits the Rika Merchant Guild and meets a merchant named Locke, who helps him shop and sends his letter. Later, Rio is attacked by a beast girl assassin named Latifa. He defeats her and notices a submission collar around her neck, indicating slavery. In her memories, he sees how Stuart from the Beltram Kingdom tortured her and ordered her to kill Rio. Upon realizing she no longer wishes to harm him, Rio removes her collar and releases her. Afraid to be alone, she begs to accompany him and he agrees. Celia eventually receives Rio's message, while he and Latifa share a peaceful meal. That night, she speaks of returning to her old home in Tokyo, leading Rio to suspect she too was reincarnated. After helping her sleep with spirit arts, Rio steps out and is attacked by demi-humans. Though he pleads for peace, they knock him unconscious, suspecting he kidnapped Latifa. Once they realize their mistake, they apologize and treat Rio kindly. The next day, Elder Ursula introduces Rio to the village and takes him to the sacred world tree, home of the spirit Dryas. During a council meeting, the elders suggest Rio stay, and he agrees. Later, Dryas communicates with Rio and senses within him a slumbering humanoid spirit, one of 6 lost in a divine war millennia ago. Rio is granted a home and shares it with Latifa. He also meets 3 more demi-humans, Sarah, Alma, and Orphea, who become his companions. Meanwhile, a villain named Rice steals a dragon egg, prompting its guardians to track him. Rio and Latifa spend a year in the village and receive blessings during the Grand Spirit Festival. That evening, Orphea and Sarah express frustration that Rio remains emotionally distant, but he thanks them sincerely for their friendship. As dragons pursue Rice for the stolen egg, one of the guardians dies, and the egg is left near Rio's village. When danger looms, Rio faces off with the dragons and saves everyone. During this time, Latifa opens up about her former life in Japan, revealing she too was reincarnated. Rio eventually leaves for the Yagumo region. After 2 weeks, he arrives at a village with no leads until he meets a girl named Sayo, who takes him to her grandmother Yuba, the village chief. Yuba recognizes Rio's parents' names and confirms that she is his grandmother. She brings him to their grave and explains that they left the village in secrecy. She promises to tell him more when the time is right. Rio also learns that Sayo's cousin Rory is a close relative. Yuba allows him to stay, and the next day, Rio helps prepare breakfast. He meets Sayo's brother Shin, who is jealous of Rio's popularity and abilities. Trouble arises when a man named Gon spies on the girls bathing and later tries to assault Sayo. Rio intervenes just in time and beats him. Rio, Sayo, Shin, and Hunter Dola travel to Karasuki's capital. Along the way, Rio and Sayo share a brief romantic moment. Later, Gauki, Sayo's father, reads Yuba's letter and meets Rio. He reveals Rio's mother was Princess Ayame of Karasuki, and his father, Zen, was her bodyguard. Because the Prince of Rokuran desired Ayame, the couple fled and were ultimately murdered by Zen's former friend, Lucius. Rio is introduced to King Hamir and Queen Shizuku, his grandparents. The king supports Rio's desire for revenge and arranges for him to train under Gauki. After completing the training, Rio returns to the village, visits his parents' grave, and announces his departure. Yuba and Rory inform others of his noble lineage, which stirs heartbreak, especially for Sayo, who has fallen in love with him. 6 months later, the Harvest Festival arrives, and Gauki's family attends. During the festivities, Sayo confesses her love and asks to join Rio on his journey. He gently rejects her, though visibly conflicted. The next day, she bravely bids him farewell. Back in the demi-human village, Rio is warmly welcomed by the elders, Latifa, and the others. One morning, they discover him sleeping next to a naked woman, his spirit. She has no memory of herself, but calls him Haruto. Upon his suggestion, she adopts the name Aishia. Rio and Aishia visit Lady Dryas and the elders, who marvel at their identical magic. After a brief stay, he prepares to leave again, this time for the Kingdom of Strahl. The elders give him parting gifts, including a magic earring to change his appearance. In Strahl, Rio learns that Celia is engaged to Charles Arbor. Shocked, he investigates and finds her deeply unhappy. Though Celia lies and claims contentment, Rio sees through her act. During a pre-wedding gathering, Celia is bullied by Charles's wives, only to be rescued by Princess Christina. Rio, hidden among the crowd, launches a surprise attack, single-handedly overpowering elite guards and defeating Charles. Using telepathy, he coordinates with Celia to make it look like a hostage situation. He entrusts her to Aishia and escapes. As Rio reunites with the women outside the city, mysterious lines emerge from the ground. Aishia urges him to intervene, and Rio is stunned to find May, his childhood friend from Earth, standing in front of him. Give the video a like, and I'll see you in the next videos.